Jordan Moore, Sean Cody, Cody Kessler, and Eric Henderson joins us now, the defensive line coach. And you just heard the highlight, that third quarter. All of a sudden, it was a different team that came out at halftime. Defensively, really the whole second half. You give up the score on the short field, but otherwise we're fantastic. What did you feel like was the big difference with your group and the defense as a whole in that second half?
I think just the urgency, the sense of urgency in terms of, making plays. I always talk to these guys about, how can we affect the game, as a unit. And, I still don't feel like we done that well enough throughout the course of that game. But I thought our urgency picked up. I thought guys were more locked in that third quarter, in that fourth quarter. And, that was the difference. We just needed to start the game that way.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned playmaking, and I'm sure, the sack numbers aren't where you want them to be because you'll never be happy with, the number of sacks. But it's been a struggle at times to get to really affect the passer this year. Where do you think that your group can continue to get better at as far as affecting the quarterback?
I think it's just the continuity of the guys that are on the field. We've been playing so many guys, and which you love to be able to play so many guys, but you also need guys to win those one-on-one opportunities that are created out there. And I think that's a D-line's dream. When you watch the tape and we have opportunities to make those plays, we got to be able to make them. And at the end of the day, that's the reality of what it is in certain situations. Then there's times you get there and we're not able to get the guy down. There's so many missed sack opportunities that are left on the tape, and it's like it's frustrating, and the guys are frustrated. Sometimes guys are so excited when you just run your feet, wrap the guy up. It goes back to base fundamentals at the end of the day. And we'll get better at that. And but again, when you got a lot of young guys that are scratching the surface for the first time, those things happen. I mean, it happens in every level of football, as you know. So, we'll be better.
Coach, I've heard a lot about it already, but this is the first time we've ever got to talk the dog work mentality. I'm already a little jealous. I need one of those sweatshirts. I know Sean gave me a hard time for being a quarterback.
No chance.
Said I don't deserve one, but what exactly is that mentality, and how do you apply that when you're coaching your defensive line up front?
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about just what it means, you talk about the discipline, the attitude, the work ethic, the grit. Guys got to be willing to put in the work. You got to become obsessed with greatness, and what does that look like? When you're obsessed with that, you chase that with a relentless mindset. And then just how we want to finish games. You got to have a killer instinct to be able to finish games and finish the competition, especially when you got guys on the rope. You got to be able to finish it. And again, those missed opportunities, you're not finishing plays. You're not choking out the competition, and that's where we want to get to,
You're listening to Eric Henderson on Trojans Live. And, Coach, you have some really nice young players that we've talked about a lot the last couple of weeks. Sam Green, Cam Fountain, Devin Tompkins, to name three. I asked Sean this, but I'm curious your answer. What don't they know, or what don't they have physically that they'll have 2 years from now?
Just the overall understanding and awareness of the game. Like there's times that just from a simple get off, how that can, change the game. If you're not looking at things that are going on around you and you're paying attention to your pre-snap keys and the indicators that we talk about, how can that allow me to get off the ball quicker, which sometimes you may smoke the offensive lineman and he may be still in his stance if I just triggered faster, if I understood what was happening in this situation. Situational football, down in distance. Are they going to run the ball here? They're probably not. I should have been in more of a pass rush mindset. I got to understand the call that we're putting you in. The call tells you what your technique should be. And just little stuff like that, just from an inexperienced standpoint, is where our guys will continue to grow. And I think that's where you'll see them develop.
Your answer was far better than my answer. That's for sure. I was just like, they need more reps. Coach, you got two war daddies in there who've seen a lot in Gavin Meyer and Nate Clifton. They've been, great for you. Obviously, the young guys are coming on. Talk about those two and what they've meant to your group, and specifically, the run game. I think they've been fantastic.
They have been fantastic, and it speaks to that I just talked about, the experience, having seen blocks, are able to understand exactly what we're coaching. They've been great for the room because they can sometimes articulate it to the younger guys better than coaches can at times, just because it's just different. And then that's why the presence of veteran football players mixed in the group of young talented guys uplifts your group tremendously. And I think when you got two guys like Nate and Gav, who's really been really, really awesome for us, The staff is pleased to have those guys, and they do a really good job of doing that, of showing the young guys, how they could be better in certain situations.
Yep. Coach, you talked about it in the offseason, in the preseason, but now you have 9 games under your belt. What's been the biggest difference? You've been at both levels, from the NFL now being to the college level.
Just the overall grasp of the information with a lot of the young guys. That's the part that I love and I appreciate, because I like the challenge of seeing these guys develop and get better. Like, they have gotten tremendously better from the time that we've started, and it has been fun watching the development, because when you have success, that's what allows those guys to continue to trust and believe, and they have been. I mean, every day they're working their tails off. They're doing everything that we ask, and you will see these guys have fun. It sucks because you want to be able to still encourage these guys and show them how much that they have improved, but sometimes when you don't get the W in the win column, it makes it feel weird, and some of the guys don't think they're getting better, and that sucks, because you are, bro. You're really doing a really good job. However, the overall goal is to win the game. How could we have affect the game a bit more that would have got us the dub? So we always put it on our shoulders as a D-line unit, and it'll always be that way, and I think the guys, they understand that.
Yeah, and to Jordan's point, too, a lot of young players, a young core group on this defensive line, very excited about in the future.
Yeah, it's huge. We are on ESPN LA 710, which is the home of the Rams as well. Do you watch the games? Is it weird watching a team that you just left that locker room? I watched yesterday. Did you watch?
I was able to see a little bit of it, and it was fun. It was fun to watch those guys and see the young guys continue to grow and develop in the league. And I was able to point out some of those things to our guys in terms of just where some of those guys were when they started, and to see how they've continued to develop, and now the success that those young guys are even having, even if they started a bit slow, this year.
Coach, one player who's kind of popped off the film the last couple of weeks, who really didn't get much action early on in the season, Elijah Hughes. He didn't really get a lot of burn early. We saw him last year a little bit, and as the season's come on, we've seen him get some in there and some action, draw some holding calls, good penetration. What have you seen from Elijah Hughes to get him out there some more?
Just that, Sean. Like, he's able to work the edges, and he's got a really good first step. He's kind of slippery inside. Yeah. One of the things I talked to him about today was just his overall confidence and having that the understanding that I can take over if I want to.
Yep.
Trust your instincts. You have the keys to go do this thing. And just when, not having that early playing experience sometimes mentally slows a lot of these guys down, and they don't realize, oh, snap, I'm free right now. Well, yeah, if you 1 second earlier, you probably would have made that play.
Yeah.
That was a sack that he could have had, in the UW game. And
I'm surprised that he's winning, right?
There you go. And it was just that. It was like, dang, I didn't think I were going to be free. Why?
Yeah.
Expect it.
Yep.
I love it, Coach. I always love your perspective. I appreciate you taking the time, being on the show, and can't wait to watch this young group develop under you over the next few years. Your next shot to get after the quarterback is coming up not this Saturday, but the following Saturday against Nebraska. 1 o'clock is our kick time at the Coliseum. Homecoming Saturday. Game is on Fox. We will go live on the USC Trojans Media Network at 11 a.m. When you've got good beer and good vibes, it's all bueno. Stone Buena Vesa Salt and Lime Lager is Baja-inspired, imported from San Diego, located near you at find.stonebrewing.com. And fight on Trojans and fly on with ONT. Ontario International Airport is a proud sponsor of our USC Trojans. Visit SoCalSoEasy.com to book your journey through ONT today. When we come back, we will sit down with Bryson Shaw, one of the senior leaders on this team. That's next on Trojans Live.